In 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Crypto Night Show. Your host Superman in the house for another day exploring Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Pulsechain. We're going to get a deep dive into the charts and have a look at where things are at. We've got quite a few big news items as well. So if you're feeling a bit down about where we are in the bearish cycle, we got lots of fundamentals which are mega deals, all building on top of each other. I think recently we've talked about some big stuff happening with Morgan Stanley, with BlackRock, with the ETFs, staking ETFs, things like that. So we've got money coming through that. We've been talking about the big DATs, or digital asset treasuries, like Strategy and Bitmine. Both of those are doing unbelievable things to lead big capital flows into the market from not only the debt markets but also the equity markets. So we've got lots of things being laid for the bull market ahead. So pretty exciting. We've got tons of commentators out there talking about where the bottom is, where the top is. Some are bears, some are bulls. Some people talking about the 4-year cycle. Some people talking about the power curve, all sorts of things like that. The power law, power floor rules, all sorts of things are being talked about out there. So there's lots of different opinions about where we're heading. Obviously, we've got the Iranian war, conflict, whatever you want to call it at the moment. And we apparently have President Trump saying today that they are in the current process of securing the Strait of Hormuz, which is the key thing to keep the oil prices down, etc. And of course, they've got all the Marines have arrived as well, so he's got a lot of optionality about where things are happening. We also hear that on the streets of Iran, we have a lot of the resistance movement, rising up, and some controls have been lost for the RGC. Now, it's a big country, but if you can take out the right dominoes, you can have that regime collapse. The regime is going to end up arguably fighting a battle between two sides, which is a very bad situation to be in, generally speaking. We've seen history show that, and of course, one against the Americans and the Israelis, and the other against their own people. The vast majority, of course, that don't want the regime and have been under its affliction for 47 years. So there's a lot of stuff happening there. Obviously, the Strait of Hormuz is the key one that's going to flow into the markets that we're watching, and so we're going to follow that pretty closely. Let's get into the results. If you haven't subscribed, of course, we're streaming on 3 YouTube channels. The Crypto Night Show, Superman Crypto, and Pulsechain X. Smash the subscribe button on the way in. It's free to do and helps grow the channel. And if you're on X, don't forget to smash the follow at the very top if you're on the X platform. Let's have a bit of fun here. So without further ado, we've got no stock market, of course. The stock market will be opening up tonight for Monday, US time, and so we'll cover that tomorrow and see where that's going at the moment. All right, let's jump into the crypto market though. Let's refresh here. Now, if you haven't joined our strategy club, you can hit the QR code, all the links in the video description. Just over $1 a day to join up to that, and you get all the intel all through the day. So get in there, folks, for that. It's pretty awesome. All right, so we've got the total crypto market cap at the moment, 2.37 trillion. Pretty small, right? Pretty small market cap, up 0.2% today. So we've got green candles for Sunday US time. It's currently Monday down under, of course. Let's have a quick look at Bitcoin at the moment, 66,400. So we've been pretty steady over the weekend after the big sell-off. We're up 0.1% at the moment on the 24-hour. Ethereum up 0.4% at $2,000. So we're back over that psychological level. We've been sitting around that most of the weekend. And BNB there at number 4 is down 0.1% at $610. XRP is actually up 0.3%, $1.33 at number 5. Number 6 is Solana, up 0.1% at $82. Tron there at number 8 is up 1.6% at 32 cents. We've got Dogecoin at number 10, up 0.6% at 9.1 cents. So those are top 10 majors, as I call them. And Tron, of course, winning the best performance for the day and the week. So there we go. Let's have a look at the top 100. We've got Mincore at the moment up 34%, BitTensor Tau up 23%, Midnight they're up 16%, Artificial Superintelligence Alliance up 11.7%, and number 5 there in the top 100 is Canton up 7.6%. So those are all on the move this week as well. Top 1,000 we got ONFA, so ONFA I guess you call it, We've got Ontology and Siren. Those are all in the top 1,000 gainers. Of course, Siren there been doing some pretty crazy stuff. Trending overall, we've got BitTensor, Core, and Solana. So that's kind of our market majors there in crypto, but we're going to zoom in on the Bitcoin chart and have a look at some of the really big news that's just laying, it's like a layered cake, just laying on top of each other, more and more good news. So let's get into it. We got the current Bitcoin price at the moment, as I said, $66,238. We've had a pretty tight range in the last couple of days, as I said, in the weekend. You can see after that sell-off we had last week under Friday, we've actually had quite the sort of consolidated range. We've had a low of 65,000, and we've been sort of bouncing off 67,200, and we're kind of in the middle of that right now. The 50-day moving average is at 71,158. The 200-day moving average is at 85,272. So that's kind of where we are with the old Bitcoin at the moment. So still playing out that death cross that we had all the way back in November. And remember, just for a reflection, on the 10th of October is when we had the big liquidation event in the market. And so that is, we've kind of been down from there. Quite a few waterfalls, one waterfall there, a couple of waterfalls here, big waterfall there, and another huge one here, of course. And then recently, of course, we've had a couple of these other ones. Look at that, pretty crazy. We are still in this zone area. We have touched 60K. That is down near the bottom of the power law there, and the plow floor being about 53. So whether we hit that or not is another question. There are many pundits that are projecting, that we will have that bear scenario. We have one more big waterfall down into that zone, and then there's others that are saying, no way, we got so much good stuff happening. We're going to be going up after maybe the Iranian issue is dampened down in the Strait of Hormuz there and get a big recovery. We've certainly got the stock market at the moment with the PE ratios down dramatically. So there's probably well discounted to market now, particularly all the growth stocks, AI and things like that. So we're going to look at that this week as well, see how they recover or not, or whether we get a lot of stuff happening in Iran around, troop invasion and all sorts of stuff taking out Krag Island and, cutting off oil and things like that. So there's still a lot of volatility potentially in the next 2 weeks in particular. So we'll keep a lookout for all that and how that plays out. All right, but the recovery might be quite glorious, so we're going to check out that. What is giving us structural support as well? We're getting structural support in the market. Well, that's through the digital asset treasuries and potentially the ETFs. So let's zoom in on Michael Saylor here. Obviously, they've launched this potentially the iPhone moment for Bitcoin, and that is Michael Saylor. Over the past 30 days, Stretch has been less volatile than every company in the S&P 500 and every major asset class, while delivering an 11.5% dividend yield. Of course, that's a game changer. Hundreds of trillions of dollars in the minor market, bond markets, and private credit markets. And this is offering, 2-3 times the yield that you can get there. And you can see here, the volatility has been less in the last 30 days. You got Stretch all the way down there at 2%. You got all these other things, even Bitcoin at 50%. Gold, you got the QQQ, the SPY, and of course the VNQ there. So Stretch looking really good as a yield offering product. Crazy stuff there. All right, so that is looking pretty exciting, and so we're looking to vampire the whole fixed market. Well, not the whole, but certainly drag a lot of capital in through the debt markets from traditional finance into buying up Bitcoin. That's the idea. We're going to be looking at, of course, the Stretch opening tonight, and it is pretty close. The last time I saw it was at $99.91, I think. And see where that hits $100. Once it hits $100, they can issue more shares and put what they call the at the market or ATM on and raise capital and buy Bitcoin. That's how it works. And as they raise a certain amount of shares, it pushes the price back down to 100, etc. Sort of that sort of mechanism there. And it's basically a potentially big funnel to pump the old Bitcoin, provide structural support. And so we're going to see how that affects the market over the next year or two. And of course, what other products might come out from there as well from Michael Saylor. It is game on, guys. And of course, yesterday we covered the fact that he put his electric eyes back on. Last time we saw that, of course, Bitcoin rallied from something like from 25,000 on to about 126,000. So let's see what happens with this. Are we getting structural change in the crypto markets? So keep a lookout for that, and we've already touched the 60K on the power law, so we'll see what happens there. Still pretty volatile times though, and the bearish scenario is still in play, right? Still in play for the bottom of the cycle. So we'll keep a lookout and see which one wins. All right, so let's jump over to Ethereum. Ethereum at the moment is at $1,997, playing around that 2,000. Pretty similar last couple of days over the weekend, pretty quiet. And we've got the current 50-day at the moment at 2,160, and the 200 at 2,742. So they're both drifting down, those moving averages. Obviously similar, we've got the death cross here, where the 50-day crosses below the 200-day back on 24th of November. That was about 8 days after the Bitcoin moved. And of course, we've also got the 10th of October, liquidation event there. At the moment, we've been in this kind of big channel here, really. We tried to bust out of it. Pull back down with the volatility of the Strait of Hormuz and the oil price, and also oil flows. And of course, we've talked about how some of the, a lot of the leftist governments, which are destroying the West, have obviously doing their net zero, right, and put themselves in vulnerable positions. And now, ironically enough, getting oil, Australia at the moment is getting oil from America. So there we go. That's how the world has turned there. So we'll keep a lookout for all that stuff. So that's where Ethereum is right now. We have obviously some pretty good news. We've got some price predictions here. So if you haven't seen this, so we're going to talk about this interview here, and that is from a very, very, very inside person here. I'm just trying to remember the agency. But anyway, $40,000 by Ethereum by 2030. Is in this interview from Standard Chartered's Global Head of Digital Asset Research, Jeff. So obviously when he talks, markets listen as well. So he's quite a key person behind the scenes, as it were. He says, the only feedback I get is I'm being too conservative about $40,000 ETH by 2030. When Standard Chartered's Global Head of Digital Assets Research, Jeff, speaks, the market listens. Why? In April 2023, he predicted $100,000 Bitcoin when it was trading at just 25K. He's now laying out the roadmap for a 20x in Ethereum. Ethereum will outperform for the foreseeable future. The reason, institutional gravity. BlackRock, these are some of the catalysts. BlackRock build, settling on the only chain that's never gone down. Obviously, Ethereum and Ethereum and Pulsechain, both EVM chains. Ethereum based on Ethereum, and of course never gone down. So super strong there. Stablecoin utility, near free 24/7 settlement. That idiotic fiat can't touch. So pretty awesome. And the third one there, the $2 trillion shift. Tokenized money markets are moving on chain and they aren't leaving. So once they come and they're not leaving, we've seen a lot of big money managers, banks, and all talking about tokenizing. So that's all in play at the moment. So kind of cool. And you can see his targets there. He also, as a side note, with 40K for Ethereum, he has 500,000 for Bitcoin by 2030. So there we go. You can see him in the interview there. All right, so pretty bullish news there. I thought you guys would like that. And also, the Wolf of Wall Street here puts out the fact that not only have we got all the big companies coming over to tokenize, we've obviously got big nation states and banks and things like that coming. France's largest bank, BNP Paribas, to launch 6 Bitcoin and Ethereum-linked ETNs for retail investors on March the 30th there, which is about now, right? So this is super exciting for where this is all heading. So you guys, it's happening, man. So even though we're down on the markets now, you can see all the fundamentals are heading us up for just a major re-rate in the future. So hopefully some of this gives you some inspiration there. Now, if you guys haven't joined Strategy Club, highly recommend it. Get all the intel, much more than I cover on the live stream. You can hit the QR code to join up through the Whoop store, and then you'll get a link to the Discord Strategy Club. So we'll see you there. Also find the links in the video description and pinned to the top of X. So those are some of the bullish stuff there, but we got even more, guys. The big thing that we're waiting for is the Clarity Act. The final big regulatory act that we need for all the banks and institutions, nation states, all that to flow in, particularly for US. So we're excited about that. We are getting some progress. There's still some, division amongst the community, particularly against Coinbase. Coinbase, I think, is trying to do the right thing. It's obviously trying to protect its business model. It's trying to become like a super bank as well in many ways. It's we've got some people pushing back on that a little bit. Like Tether, for example. So we'll see where this goes at the moment. We've got the Clarity Act is done. This is what from Crypto Ty said. Luminous Loomis just confirmed it. Text dropping next week. In other words, text of the bill. DeFi protected. Stablecoin yield unlocked. Institutional barriers gone. And I don't know about stablecoin yield, but we'll see what happens in that space. I think we'll get some innovation there, particularly because on active stuff, not in situ stablecoin, but actually active use. And that suits DeFi to a T. So that's super bullish for Ethereum and Pulsechain with the DeFi side of things. One bill, every problem solved. Years of regulatory uncertainty ended next week. Then text drops next week. Garlinghouse said 90% by the end of April. So there's obviously the first half of April is going to be pretty key, getting it all marked up and getting ready to go. Obviously, it's coming out of the Senate Banking Committee after already being in the Congress. It's been changed a bit, so probably have to go back to the Congress there, then via the Senate again, and then off to the President's desk. That'll be the kind of the play. We want to get it done now before the midterms. Otherwise, it could drag on for several years after that, and you just never know your luck, right? The countdown is no longer months, it's days. Well, I wouldn't say days, but I would certainly say within the next 2 months. By the 21st of May, for sure. That's kind of the deadline, I think, the latest deadline. So let's see how we get on. So certainly, let's say the next 50 days, the window there for that getting done. And we've got the little interview there with senator there. So Lummis. So we'll see how that goes. So that is kind of cool. That is heading forward to. If that goes through, it just opens up the floodgates, guys. That's pretty much it. And tsunamis, everything else that's already happening fundamentally by the early movers, the big banks, etc. So keep a lookout for that. All right, so that's going to get us into Pulsechain. Pulsechain at the moment is day 1053. And some people wonder, like I did a video yesterday about Michael Saylor, Tom Lee, and Richard Hart, and some person left some comment talking about Michael Saylor and Tom Lee wouldn't even think of Richard Hart, and I said that's not what the video is about, because I didn't watch the video, right? They just made some random comment based on the title of the video. You get a lot of that sort of stuff, right? And the reality is that Michael Saylor and Tom Lee are pumping Richard Hart's bags, right? So he doesn't have to do anything. He doesn't have to have them even respond to them. He just has to sit there. And of course, ultimately, if the magic cart ride occurs on Pulsechain, then Pulsechain is getting a free ride as well, because all that capital is flowing into crypto, and Pulsechain is going to get access to that directly because of the Pulsechain sacrifices, right, and everything else that's been in there, including potentially all the Hex AA ETH, depending on how much is left there. So lots of exciting things coming up. We got Pulse day 1053. We're still super cheap. Near the all-time lows, we're at 50745, down 2 2.2% of a percent. We got Pulsex at the moment at unbelievable. Look at Pulsex here, guys. 50597, down 1.5%. We got the buy and burn around about 8.77% based on GoPulse, but that's about 9.2% based on Pulsechain stats apparently. And we got the Ink token at the moment, 36 cents after the Ink was yield was basically reduced by a further 99% or so, and so that is down 0.8% right now as well. We got Hex on Pulsechain. It is sitting at 1300th of a penny, down 4.5%, and we got EHEX at the moment at 0.0066 at the moment. So one EHEX, one PHEX, I guess, gets you 1.97 EHEX. Sorry, PHEX there, yeah, at the moment. Know what I say. One PHEX gets you 1.97 EHEX. That's better. All right, so that is the play on day 1053. So super cheap at the moment on the old Pulsechain. We have the beats at the moment, 771,000 beats, super cheap, 0.2 of a penny on the Pulsex swaps. Validator wise, we're at 51,200, pretty much after the big large account sold down. What about 1,200 validators and sold? Helped us get us our all-time low on the chart. So that that was just what happened. The bridge at the moment, 69.5. So we're actually up a bit, up about 300. Actually we're down at 82, 68, wasn't it? 68. So we're up quite a bit there. We're not quite at 70 million again. Another 500,000 to get us there. So that is overall where we are on day 1053. Now, top coins at the moment. We've got OG WebChef on the move. How about that? Let's decide to turn on the jets. Has the OG WebChef a little bit. The volume's still modest, but we've got 25k across the two top peers for world's greatest PDI printer. So I guess you guys are earning PDI if you're still holding those tokens. We've got up 60% at the moment on those two with the old PDI printer. Let's have a look at the top P, I guess, and see what happened there. Yeah, look at that. Boom. Daily candles there. The last 3 days. Boom, 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 boom. So not bad. Those are my own sound effects, of course. Brought to you by Pfizer. No, I'm just kidding. 65% we're on the up there at the moment on the old world's greatest PDI printer. Another OG Web Chef Dominance is number 3, up 8.5%. Then we've got one of the old fork tokens there, the staked ETH derivative, up 5.6%. We've got Liquid Loans back up as well. Funny enough, they were both up and both down together, weren't they? 4.8%. Then we've got some of the Richard Core peers here, Pulsechain Inc. Up 3% there. I'm not sure how that's happening, but that's what's happening with those particular peers. And then we've got Doubt Token, one of the top meme coins on Pulsechain, up 3.6%. UFO along with the BTC, so UFO sitting up 3.5% as well. What else? We've got GoPulse sitting at 3.4 cents. Remember that used to be up around, 12 cents, down at 3.4 now, up 2.7%. Pulse Puppy at number 17, up 2%. ZKP from Kairos and Emmett Farm. So once again, we said happy birthday to Emmett Farm yesterday. 1 year operating and amazing results, over $100,000 I think in EDI rewards, up 1.6%. What's that? Teddy Bear there at number 22, up 1.2%. Vouch at the moment, our top validator, but had some big validator exits, didn't it? I think, or exit yesterday or the day before, the last couple of days anyway. That's up 1% right now. And P Tiger there from the Tiger Crypto God, one of the rising influencers on X, although has he been a bit more quieter recently? Don't know. But that's up 1% at the moment. PC the Greys, along with the Troper, up almost 1%. So we've got a little bit of gainers there. True Farm and Emmett Farm. So we've got those on the move at the moment. So True Farm is at 70, just below 71, or just below 72 cents, I guess, and Emmett Farm at $1.01. So those there are sitting nice. Now, True Farm's a kind of a fork of Emmett and a collab with between the two, True DeFi and Emmett. And they're holding up quite nicely there at number 29.30, still in the green. Curve, which recently launched limit orders using the Switch API from Brandon. That is up just over 0.5% as well. Number 34 is Pump Tires Die. We've got plenty of dies. We've got P Die. We've got Pump Tires Die, the one we're looking at the moment. We've got Good Die from Maddie Allen. 1/3, up 1/3% at the moment. We've got Mafia at number 37, up 0.25%. That's sitting at 30 cents exactly. We are waiting, I guess, for Coinwell and Koinaki. But once again, I don't think we'll get a lot of projects launching until we get a turn in the sentiment in the market, as we're touching all-time lows on Pulsechain. So, if you're a founder, you probably most definitely want that all to reverse so that you can get, a decent adoption FOMO. That's probably the play. What else we got going? A few more here. Teddy Bear from James Maria. Stacks as well, up a little bit. Surgical Trainers is also up just a tad. We've got 43 out of the top 100 peers trending here on Deck Screener in the green. Everything else is in the red. Even some of our best projects are in the red, but that's just the way it goes on the old Pulsechain. We've got thin liquidity. We've got a lot of short-term minded people. Probably got some people under pressure, probably selling too. You know how it goes. Got to pay the rent. So that's just life. That's life there. And then at the bottom here, we've got the biggest one. We've got ProveX down, guys. OMG, it's down. And is it heading towards my area? Let's see. Let's see where ProveX is right now. A revolutionary peer-to-peer technology here with privacy, but it has gone down a lot. Look at that. A big wick down today too. This is on the 4-hourly chart because we've got a nice RSI. It is oversold, so we have bounced off 25, just above 30 at the moment. But we got all the way down today. Look at that. We got all the way down to 4 zeros, 59.45. OMG. So let's have a look at the hourly quickly, just to show when it happened this hour, in the current hour that we're in. We've got a big volume candle there, wicked it right down and got brought back up a bit. So the hourly candle, we've got 4.05945 is the low, and we're currently above that at 65 at the moment. So, it is drama. Now we've got the daily, we've got the RSI. Hey, we just started printing RSI, guys. So we printed it yesterday. Printed at 50, and we're up at 51 right now. So that's interesting. So that's going to be interesting for moving forward. We'll talk about the RSI there to start printing on the daily. We'll go back to the 4 hourly right now. And let's have a look at the market cap, right? That's what we're going to look at. And let's see where it's going here on the old market cap. So we're at 83 million. On that little dip we just had in the current hour, we got down to 80 million. And I said to you guys, these valuations are always, a fly in the pie, but I just felt that relative to the other protocols on Pulsechain right now, and the fact that ProveX is still in beta, that a fair value market might be something between 60 and 75 mil, maybe with a bias to the upside. But we saw that big hyper rally, and it got run up there at the beginning. We got that call here from Richard, of course, the market call there. Funnily enough, at the same time it got pumped, and then down we came here. And all the way down. Look at that. So we've got lots of lower lows and lower highs. And where will it land? Where will it land here? So pretty crazy stuff, right? Pretty crazy stuff. Now, what happened to my indicator that I had? Oh, we're on market cap. So we'll see how we get on. At the moment, we're still above that level. We've still got arguably, this is supposed to be the ProveX pool sacrifice at about 3,200. So we're still well on the money on that. Arguably, it would be a lot of these people wanting, at the moment it's a 2x, it says on here. It's still above the, it's below the base sacrifice price, which is way up here. So it's below that quite a bit. How much below? It's below that by about 34%, 35%. But it's still 2x on that best ProveX money. But these probably people waiting for 5x, 10x, 15x. So maybe that's what's going on there. But certainly a lot of sell volume coming down. So we'll see where it lies on this. But arguably if it comes anywhere near into my market cap zones, still got further to go. We've just had a volume print here, 51. So it's looking right in the middle there. Well, it's got to make a decision. 4 hour. What does that tell us? It's probably going to more likely to go up at some stage from here because we're in such a heavy sell zone. But we'll keep a lookout. For that. All right, so that is a ProveX at the moment. So Richard's latest projects. Now, will the market maker come in at some stage as well? That's another question. And do another move. Make higher lows on a longer time frame and move up there. So let's have a look at the. Where are we going? Peacock. Let's have a look at Peacock here. Peacock, of course, our big juggernaut, or what I call the Kraken project on Pulsechain. It is sitting at 1.1 cents, so just over 1.1 cent. Even that's facing a little bit of pressure, sell pressure. Where did it go? Got pushed all the way down here. I got flipped on while I'm streaming. So that is the Peacock. Let's have a look at the charts right now. And have a look at this. This is obviously building out a lot of stuff. Even this chart, of course, under a lot of pressure. There's the weekly candles, not daily. And we can see that we got pushed down out of that little triangle. We have got the ZKX wallet coming up. That's the next major modular update or product release. It's a big deal, right? It's a normal wallet combined with privacy. And so that is going to be a big deal. They're going to make it very user-friendly. And this is one of the big things that LibertySwap is doing. They're taking away all the, as much as they can, they're taking away all the difficulties, where you need to spend a bit more time. They're trying to make it easy so you don't spend so much time. You can basically just click button, and not have any problems. And therefore you don't need to be sort of an expert or, skilled. You don't need to be a big whale, whatever, and you can start using this wallet. And Pulsechain's given another big, heavy wallet, right? We also know that Ramp now is doing a wallet as well. So we're excited about having more wallet options on Pulsechain. It's one of the last big areas on Pulsechain to get variety for. Obviously, Internet Money does a great job, like super great job, but we do need more varieties, and particularly very intuitive ones, so glad about that. But this one's going to have privacy intact, as well as all their APIs as well, so fun times ahead here. So we're going to keep a track of this at the moment. Obviously getting very close to public testing, I think, for that. And I think there's a few people already testing the wallet already. So some early testers. So keep a lookout for that. So April was looking very good for the ZKX wallets. And so let's go hear some of the news there from the team. So even today, even though waiting for the big wallet to drop, upgrades are on the way today. So they are already working, which is kind of cool to see. Very neat. We've got a lot of the key teams in there. supporting Liberty Swap as well, so that's kind of cool. Yeah, nice. The team will keep working and delivering new features every week. The market is moving fast, and so are we. Working to push the upgrades to UI now. Isn't that great? So, very cool stuff happening with Liberty Swap. Let's go through some of the updates today and see what is relevant to us. Let's scroll back up from there. What else have we got up here? Interesting enough, they got a little commentary here on Liberty X. So Liberty X is the product that they launched in the last month. Obviously been very successful with the DEX swapping aggregating. And they say that PLS DEX aggregator, which is the dominant aggregator on Pulsechain, wins almost all price auctions via Liberty X. How about that? So pretty interesting side-by-side comparison there, based on $1,000 there, getting the best price. So kind of cool. And they say it's hard to find a better price than PLS if the main liquidity sources on Pulsechain are still traditional liquidity pools. The innovation should focus on improving user experience and protecting trading orders, improving Pulsechain liquidity, introducing different market maker models, combining new sources of liquidity to improve efficiency there. Now, of course, the Liberty X is based on intent-based trading, which is exciting to have that on Pulsechain, right? So that's kind of cool. So we'll see what they're going to be. Liberty Swap's going to be looking to focus on increasing the liquidity, both off market as well. So we'll have a look. Keep following that story. 1 hour ago, Peacock says the Peacock community. So Liberty Swap says the Peacock community is one of the most diamond-handed communities I've ever known. Despite immense pressure from the main core coin sell-off, the floating supply of Peacock has remained unchanged. How about that? It's pretty cool and great stuff. And they've got the ZKX wallet coming. Now, presumably, we don't know the exact allocation that Peacock holders will get of the new ZKX wallet. Now, I keep saying XKZ for some reason. I don't know why. I got it backwards, but ZKX is going to be an airdrop for the wallet, and that's going to be stakeable to earn fees just to start off. But probably we're going to get a lot more stuff happening with that DAO token for the ZKX token airdrop. So Peacock holders, that chart may not be around too long like that with the old pullback, and yet they're still Liberty Swap's still pretty happy with the diamond handedness there. If Ming coins ever make a comeback on Pulsechain, which I believe they will, Ming coin creators will have a database of strong holders to do airdrops. Hint, hint with the old, ZKX and Peacock. Now, the only question I have is you're going to have dual token system now in some ways, so it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out with the protocol. Raging Margie Cup there, you always see Raging there, always commenting on Liberty Swap. Said, I am diamond hand my Peacock. Diamond hand my Peacock, building more liquidity pools with ETH and stablecoins soon. So yeah, that's why I like reading the comments, because you always get these extra pieces of information. So they're obviously indicating to expand ETH and stablecoins soon. And look, who is Liberty Swap, right? Who is Liberty Swap? They seem to be doing a lot of the vision of Richard Hart. The other thing that they seem to be, capital seems to come out of nowhere. So I don't know who is it now. We know Crypto Sparbook's done some coverage of this. He was mentioned as one of the team members, but then he acts like he's not a team member, and that he's matching it up with the Richard Hart Association. So we'll see. Hey, we got Phil in the house. Hey, good to see you, Phil. What's Squirrel Swap? I don't know. I haven't looked at that, but good to see you in the house. We got Hexavator as well. Hey gang, good to see Hexavator. Welcome to the chat too. Now, if you guys are new to the channels, don't forget we're streaming on 3 YouTube channels. The Crypto Night Show, Pulsechain X, and Superman Crypto. Smash the subscribe button if you're watching any of those channels, and share it around. Hit the bells for daily videos, and if you're on X, don't forget to scroll up and smash the follow button and join up there today. Now, if you want to get into our strategy hub and get all the intel, much more that's on the live stream, that flows through all day, then smash the QR code there that will go through the Whoop store, and the Whoop store there allows you to get the link to sign up for our strategy club there. Just over $1 a day to join up, so pretty good value there. You can find the links also in the video description and pinned to the top of X. All right, let's jump into some of the other stuff there. Buy and hold Peacock, says Liberty Swap, indeed. So Liberty Swap there is on the move, so kind of cool. Yeah, even Hunker here says, who would sell Peacock down here, especially with incoming ZKX airdrop, hyper deflation, extreme volatility? Absolutely. So some good stuff there. Now, nothing is financial advice. You've got to do your own due diligence. all that good stuff, but some good things happening at the moment. So kind of cool. All right, so that is a Liberty Swap, and they are building out now, and that is the price where we are right now, sitting at 1.1 cents, just over 1.1 cents right now on the old Liberty Swap there. Now, one thing they did was they went to CoinMarketCap, and they filled in all the things they need to switch it from being rated on 24-hour volume and switching over to market cap. So we're waiting to see that as well. That could be a massive catalyst for increased buying, because they are currently ranked, last time I looked anyway, they were ranked about 4,300 based on 24-hour volume. But if they get all their stuff verified, which I believe they've done, and they're obviously for review. It's been in review for a while now, though, and you know how CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko, how long they can take sometimes to do things. But if they do get re-rated on market cap, they could potentially, depending on market cap, obviously the prices come down a bit, but they could potentially push them into the top 1,000, subject to where the price is. But yeah, it's pretty exciting stuff. Potentially could happen here, and if the news comes out one after another, could be quite the re-rate. Now, if any meme coin is going to have a chance to become a billion-dollar meme coin, then surely it's got to be the DeFi utility system of Peacock on the old, of Liberty Swap and Peacock on the chain. So it's also got that potential catalyst as well. And so we'll keep a lookout for all that. It's going to be cool. All right, so that is Liberty Swap. Now, Crypto Sparbook. Now, if you guys don't remember who he is, he's I think he's German nationality, somewhere European anyway, and he is. He did a lot of the road shows of Hex, and I think in Europe and then in America, along with Abit Hex, another guy, and they did a fantastic job of that. They got better and better as they went, and they had a huge amount of people get onboarded to Hex and Pulsechain and things like that. Now, he's been obviously some sort of association to Liberty Swap, but he's been doing these videos at the moment, and he dropped a big video today on the hidden reason why Hex is moving towards parity. He's talking about EHEX and PX, so you can definitely check that out at the moment. He's got James and Maria on the left here, and I guess a Richard Hart version on the right. Not random, he says. So he's got some associations there, and he's enjoying doing some of these association videos. The last one he did, of course, was between Liberty Swap and Richard Hart Hart's vision. So pretty interesting there. He's got apparently Somi in the video again for some reason. But there we go. I can see Crypto Coffee in there, because Crypto Coffee is, he was part of that with the RG Captain there in the truck. You remember him in the truck with the iPads, driving, I think, delivering or dispatching something, a whole ton of boxes of iPads. And it looks like they've probably got some sort of back channel through to Richard, possibly. So we'll see if all that stuff hooks up. But that is from Crypto Sparbook, which I thought was kind of cool. He's also been pushing out stuff about EHEX a lot lately. EHEX reached a new all-time high ratio 2 hours after my video, the highest since RH tweeted 2 years ago. Coincidence, or are people finally waking up there, talking about the EHEX to PHEX ratio there? RH tweet parity, 1-to-1. So I'll keep a lookout for all that. I don't know what people have been saying about that. 2 hours ago, interesting what is happening on Pulsechain right now. The alpha is right in front of you, he says. Control your emotions and try to understand what is happening with a clear mind. I like that, with a clear mind. One word, parity there. So he's got that in there. A little quick look at some of that. So he's got Richard Cause, including Peacock, and he's got some comments here. So let's have a quick look at this. In the Tropa group there for James and Maria. We have, what has he got here? Who's the villain, Zuba? Says Maria. Psycho is on fire since yesterday. Richard Psyche, I guess he gets. Zuba, happy hunting day. Maria says, in my opinion, PX needs to be the first 1-to-1 stable pair on the chain, long before EDI and PDI. Good luck to PDI, but definitely Hex is a possibility there. So there we go. That was from Crypto Sparbook there. What else? Have we got anything else? A bit of a video there from Richard ages ago. To what degree of fractionality could a stablecoin still hold its peg? Wouldn't it be funny if stablecoins that weren't backed on Pulse just hold their pegs anyway? Yeah, well, that's interesting. Interesting market experiment. I know there's a lot of people in the camps that don't think that might hold, and I think Fast Abdul is probably one of those. But once again, he can speak for himself. But I'm pretty sure I heard him say something to that effect, and I tend to agree with him. But it's fractionality is kind of the holy grail. If you can get something valued like that, that'd be pretty outstanding, right? So we shall see. All right, so that's some of the cool stuff there. How we're doing for time, 40 minutes on the hour. So that's pretty much it where we are today on the old Pulsechain. So we've got some interesting stuff happening there. I will leave a link to Crypto Sparbook's video on the EXPX parody story. You can definitely go and watch that, so I'll just post that in the chat there as well. Other than that, we have the Monster Thread coming out tomorrow, guys. Tonight. The Monster Thread coming out tonight, actually. Number 47. 47 weeks of the hottest Pulsechain news is coming out on the Monster Thread tonight. If you're a project team, you want to get in on that, hit us up. Obviously, the Crypto Night show is helping teams with promotions. The other side of things is that it is a professional promotion, and so you get yourself access to the biggest audience essentially every week watching the news there. So it's pretty awesome. Very cool. Exciting times. 47 weeks, which means, we're only, 5 weeks after that, we're away from 1 year of publication. Isn't that amazing? That's awesome. And it's been a lot of fun doing it. So bring it on. I know MVS Crypto, the editor-in-chief and the Crypto Night Show promotional lead, is working hard on that as we speak. So pretty cool. That is the link there to Crypto Sparbook. And he's got some nice videos on that one. All right, hope you guys enjoyed the show. We're going to finish a bit earlier today, 41 minutes on the hour. We've pretty much covered everything. Because as you can see, we've got a lot of bullish news happening. We'll have the markets opening up tonight, so we'll keep a lookout for that. We'll be covering those tomorrow on the old stock market and the futures, etc. We'll have pre-market prices, market prices, and post-market prices for the lot of stocks, right? So we'll see how the digital asset treasuries go overnight with Strategy and Bitmine Immersion. They are doing their thing, man. They are bringing structural support and pumping everyone's bags, bring all that institutional capital flow from the debt markets and equity markets over to the chain. Of course, Tom Lee is also leading the charge for retail mass adoption as well. So it is exciting where we're heading in the future. And even though now is kind of the fear time, it's typically the time to start DCAing. Now, will we have one more leg? It's possible. Obviously we've got very volatile, very times at the moment. The war may drag, probably the worst part of the war may drag on for a week or two, depending on how the Strait of Hormuz is secured. That's probably the key thing we should be looking at. Obviously, if some ships, do get targeted again. I think there's been 3 ships so far, if I remember rightly. If they aren't able to secure it properly and a ship does get hit, that always shakes the markets a bit. So we'll see how that goes. And then whether they're able to get any of their any sleeper cells that may be around the world for Iranians, like in the United States, whether they do anything, able to do anything, then that's a sort of another scare that may be out there. Apart from that, it does look like the regime's going to get in worse and worse position as we move on from week to week, because they're fighting a battle on 2 fronts. Once against the majority of their own people, let's say 80 to 90%. And then also the Americans there hitting, destroying all the infrastructure and actually reaching quite a few of these rocket cities, as they call them, underground. So we'll keep a lookout for that. America has been using the latest AI tech as well, that a lot of people may not know, but on the battlefield, instead of having reaction times of minutes against these drones and rockets, they've been able to react within seconds. So if you're wondering why they've had such high success rate, it is because of this new AI, basically a battleground map, basically has the whole area, whole of Iran there mapped out, and with sensors, and reaction time is in seconds with this new AI technology, management technology, rather than having minutes, with the old sort of school technology. When 101 rockets try to hit the aircraft carrier, they all get shot down, right? So it is the war. This is a testing ground. If Ukraine is a testing ground for drones and other innovative, sort of land battle stuff, well, this Iran conflict is a test for integrated AI battlefield solutions, let's say. And it has been this is another level altogether, of course, and it's been pretty impressive so far. All right, hope you guys enjoyed that. Let's keep a lookout for that, and we'll be watching the markets this week. And I hope you guys enjoyed the coverage. Yeah, that's right. We'll catch you again tomorrow. Take care, everybody. Onwards and upwards, and we'll see you then. Bye for now.